So another day, it's another foldable phone. And this foldable phone is coming in being called the Honor Magic 5. Now, this is a phone that's just being strictly released in China. And I know some people will be disappointed about that. But again, it just happens all the time. These companies do not want to compete with Samsung in any stretch of the imagination. And the only way you avoid competing with them is by releasing a phone strictly in China. Now, the only Chinese phone that right now could see international release would be the Oppo's phone that's getting a lot of love and attention. But with that being said, this is what is being called the Galaxy Z Fold 3's competitor, the biggest competitor, Z Fold 3. And why is that the case? Because of the fact, of course, it has a lot of really good specs. And right now, the conversion rate, we don't know the exact price to USD, but we are speculating around $1,500. And at that price tag, you really are starting to look at, kind of like the Surface Duo 2 price tag and less than the Z Fold 3. So let's go ahead and talk about it because this has a lot packed in to punch against the Z Fold 3. First off, it does have a 50 megapixel camera, and the camera system on this is absolutely insane. That's why, again, we're going to talk about that later, but definitely remember the cameras are insane on this one. We have a 12 gigabytes of RAM, a 4750 milliamp battery, and it is going to be shipping out with Android 12, which is an absolute W. So let's go ahead and look at some of these specs. First off, a foldable OLED 1B colors 90 hertz HDR 10 plus screen, which of course is going to go ahead and be a 7.9 inch display, and it is going to give you a 1984 by 2272 pixels. So that is kind of an L in my opinion. So obviously the outer display of the Z Fold 3 is 120 hertz, and the inner display is also 120 hertz. It looks like this says the foldable OLED is going to go ahead and be only 90 hertz, which is actually very comparable to what the Surface Duo 2 has. And also, of course, the outer display, though, is going to be 120 hertz. It's also going to be a 6.45 inch display, which has HDR 10 and a 1080 by 2560 pixels. And it is an OLED. So you're going to get an outside OLED, an inside OLED. Outside has 120 hertz, and the inside has 90 hertz. So again, is that too big of a deal? I will say for like $300-$400 less, maybe not. Again, like I said, it all depends on your preferences. It will be shipping out with Android 12 Magic UI 6, which is really freaking awesome. It does have a Qualcomm SMB845 Snapdragon 8 Gen 1 processor. It's going to be coming out with an octa-core what's called CPU, and of course an Adreno 730 GPU. Now, there is no external memory. This will most likely come out with 128 gigabyte / 256 gigabyte models, just like most foldable phones, or 256 and 512, depending on what they end up doing. Right now, it's speculated that there's going to be coming out with 256 gigabytes and a 512 gigabyte model. So again, like I said, it could change. This is just speculation right now, but those are the rumors right now. Now, for the 256 gigabyte model, both of them will have 12 gigabytes of RAM, so it's not like you have to worry about, getting a bigger gigabyte model to get more RAM. Now, with the Galaxy S22, that is actually how that is going to work. It's not going to work here. So here is the focal point. It's going to be the triple cameras on the back. So the Z Fold 3 has a 12, a 12, and a 12 on the back of the actual phone. Now, for the Surface Duo 2, it actually has a 12, a 16, and a 12. Most foldable phones are kind of in that same ballpark when it comes to camera ranges. Well, this bad boy right here is going to be packing a triple stack here of a wide 23 millimeter 50 megapixel camera, a 20 millimeter 50 megapixel camera, and an ultra wide 13 millimeter 50 megapixel camera. So 3 50 megapixel cameras. That is insane. Okay, it also comes with a dual LED tone flash, of course HDR like normal. It does come at 4K 30/60 FPS, 1080p at 36/60 FPS, and it is going to go ahead and rock a main camera on the front, which is a 42 megapixel camera, which is a wide camera, and it does give you an HDR and panorama, which is actually awesome. And it does record the front camera at 4K at 30 FPS and 1080p at 30 FPS, so no 60 FPS there. It does come with stereo speakers, but it does not rock a 3.5 millimeter headphone jack, which is pretty common nowadays for most things. It will go ahead and give you NFC, which is awesome. Also comes with Bluetooth 5.2. It does give you GPS, no radio, but it does come with a USB Type-C 3.1 port on the very bottom, which is pretty normal. It comes with a fingerprint reader, which is side mounted on the power button, just like always, a accelerometer, and of course a compass. Interesting. Now it has, here we go, a non-removable battery, which is normal, but fast charging, 66 watt, 50% in less than 15 minutes as advertised, reverse charging 5 watt, but does not say wireless charging. It does come with titanium, silver, black, or burnt orange, and it does, of course, come in at 1,400 euros. I said before, it's going to be interesting to see how they go ahead and translates. Now, doesn't say anything about wireless charging, and it doesn't say anything about it having water resistance in any kind of capacity. Now, does that mean it can't? No, absolutely not. We don't know all the information yet. We don't know every single little detail possible. Now, what made the Z Fold 3 very, very popular, especially compared to Z Fold 2, was the ability to actually have a water resistance on the phone. Because yes, the Surface Duo 2 is water resistant. It's water resistant and an IPX1 water resistant, which is the most, it's literally, if you hold the phone like straight up like this and it rains, you're probably not going to break the phone. But if you're holding it in any way like this, you're probably going to break the phone because the water's going to get in and it's going to break it. Now, with IPX8, which if you guys do not know, IP and then X, the first number, which is, I'm saying X right now, I mean there's no number, would be the dust resistance, so how dust resistant is the phone, and then the second number is how water resistant the phone is. So for the Galaxy Z Fold 3, is actually IPX8, 8 being the water resistance, which is actually pretty dang good. Now, of course, this phone right here, we don't know if it has any kind of water resistance. My guess would be probably no. And I mean, we saw with the Oppo's phone, it had no water resistance. With this phone, with the Surface Duo 2, it has some. Surface Duo 1, no water resistance. It's really hard for these companies to really manufacture these phones and give them water resistance. The reason why Z Fold 3 has it is because Samsung actually created this technology that lets you be able to cover the whole entire motherboard with this kind of liquid type gel. And this liquid type gel actually goes, it pushes water out. So it doesn't bring water in. Most motherboards, most devices, when you put water on them, it will actually suck the water in. This gel pushes it out, which saves the phone from breaking. Now, obviously, no other company, especially for the phone manufacturers, have been able to really replicate that same exact product. Therefore, as I said before, simply do not have, you know, anything to go off of when it comes to its water resistance. But guys, tell me down below your thoughts and opinions, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.